Yes.
Nice.
The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Very fortunate to be joined by Canadian Zone, the Outlaw, Tim Strange. Thank you for joining me, man. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me. I always enjoy these. So,
especially, do you know what, your character? I really do like it. You know, the cowboy. You don't really have many of them, you know, in professional wrestling, do you really, these days?
not nowadays. It's a vintage character, but it's always so good. It's something that I love watching myself. Like the likes of, even the people with just a subtle hint of it, like the Terry Funks, the Terry Gordys, and you have the Stan Hansons and people like that. Obviously, has heavily influenced me. So
yeah,
I love the cowboy characters, the rough and ready, just ready to fight. Here we go.
Yeah. You really do love the hardcore style as well, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a lot of it. It's the big brawling style. So I'm a big fan of the old school territory wrestling, Puerto Rico wrestling, the All Japan stuff, and it is a lot of it is big. There is wrestling involved with it, but a lot of it is a lot of brawls, a lot of striking, a lot of fighting, spilling into the crowd, getting bloody, getting battered, and just beating each other up. And I think that sort of comes across when I wrestle now, because that's sort of the style that I like to do. The getting in, getting amongst it, and fighting each other.
I mean, I'm going to pop up two photos here, and I think you can kind of see where I'm going to be going with it. You had bloody mess from your recently TNT experience. There was that one.
Yeah.
Then there's that one. That has got to hurt.
You have the adrenaline going at the time, and I think it's part of the course. It does hurt at the time, and you are, but you kind of expect it to a degree. You know it's going to suck when you're going to do it, but at the same time, it's like the reaction I had from the fans. A lot of fans enjoyed it. A lot of fans were buzzing with that. They haven't seen anything like that before, so it was good to bring something to the fans. Do you know what I mean? So you have to look at the squeeze and the juice. Do you know what I mean? Is a squeeze worth the juice? I think in that instance, the enjoyment a lot of people got out of it was probably more than the little bit of pain that I got from it. So it's.
Was that your first TNT event?
That was my first TNT match. Yeah, that was my first time in TNT. So obviously, I was speaking to Jay and the guys there. I loved my time there. Obviously, the guys down there were great, and it was great to work with them. And it's always been somewhere where I wanted to work, but it was always trying to line up the dates, because I'm really sort of, my diary is quite full. So it's like trying to mix and match the dates that's suitable. And especially when you're having someone debut, you want to make sure that they're debuting the right way. Do you know what I mean? That you're bringing someone in, you want them to have a good. You don't just want to bring them in and waste them or throw them away into a match that doesn't really add anything to the show or anything like that, just for the sake of having them on. So I think that was quite good, how they had the Deathmatch coming up. The Deathmatch tournament, obviously speaking to Jay and the team over there, TNT, went over there, smashing a bunch of guys over there, really looked after me. So credit to them, and I can't wait to go back and wrestle at TNT.
Is there someone you've got your eye on that you'd love to step in the ring with that's a regular at TNT?
There's a lot of them there, but obviously you look at the locker room, you have some great talent, especially in Deathmatch. You have Emerson, you have Big F and Joe, you have Drew Parker come back. So obviously those names alone are people that have Deathmatch wrestling. You go, yeah, I would love to have a match with them. Do you know what I mean? I think I would really enjoy that. And then you have the other guys that bring in the Kane, the Tombies. Obviously, I've wrestled Tomby before in a triple threat, but I've never had him in a one-on-one. So obviously, I would love to do more with them. And Caden's another one. He's great. Obviously, I do a lot with Caden. We travel a lot to other shows and things like that. But like, it's one of those guys again that stands out. That I would love to wrestle him. We have B.A. Rose, a guy who won the Thrill Kill.
Yeah.
Like, everything about B.A. I love. You know what I mean? So I would love to get in with him. And it's all matches, because I'm new to the deathmatch scene. I've only had 2 death matches. One I got tattooed and one I got branded in. But there's all these matches open up for me now that I'm looking forward to doing. Do you know what I mean? I'll enjoy it. So,
would you love to go for the TNT World Title against Tate Mayfair?
yeah, I mean, for me, I'm not really about titles. I just like good fights. But Tate Mayfair is he's great. You know, wrestling him. But obviously, you look at that. I looked at the deathmatch scene there, but you have like RPD people like this that are in amongst the shows. You've got all these guys. You know, he's bringing Effie in, and Ali's coming into the next TNT show. Ali Catch and Effie, and I would love to wrestle them. Do you know what I mean? The whole thing out there is there's that many good, talented people in the independent scene now. And I think the fact that the borders have opened up a lot with America and stuff now, more Americans coming over here than ever was. And a lot of British guys are getting the opportunity to go over there and mix it up with them. So there's all these matches that you think now that you thought 10 years ago or 5 years ago might never have been possible. And now you're looking at them going, yeah, we can probably work something out. Do you know what I mean? We can probably get this happening. And I think that's a big, exciting thing for me is sort of just getting in there with different people. And I think, obviously, I've wrestled for 20 years. And then I started doing the deathmatch stuff recently. And the deathmatch stuff for me, the whole community of the deathmatch is so welcoming, it's so great. But it's like, and that's across the world. Like, I've got friends in America now who watch some of my stuff, even though I've only done 2 matches, and we're talking and we're chatting and stuff and building friendships, you know what I mean, over deathmatch wrestling. And I think for me, it's such a welcoming environment, and it gets your mind ticking. Whereas before you have your normal wrestling, but you have limitations on what you can do.
Yeah.
Whereas deathmatch wrestling, you still have limitations, but they're not as restrictive as what you would do on sort of family show or a hardcore show. You know what I mean? Like a normal PT hardcore match. And I think that's where. So I'm getting a bit more creative with the deathmatch stuff. So I'm looking forward to doing more with that.
I mean, deathmatch wrestling is amazing. If you think of deathmatch wrestling, you've got Terry Funk, you've got.
You froze a bit. Froze. I'm still here. Yeah, you froze a bit there. You're back now. Yeah, you were saying deathmatch wrestling. You had Terry Funk.
Yeah, it's crazy. So many talented people out there, and like you mentioned, the list goes on and on. You know, for the possible opponents that you could have. You mentioned obviously that you've been wrestling for 20 years, but then you took a break for 8 years, didn't you?
Yeah, so I took a break. I wasn't doing it as often. I was still involved with wrestling and still wrestling locally. Like, there's some smaller promotions local to me, but I wasn't as active. And that was because I had problems with alcohol. So I was doing a lot of drinking and stuff like that. So I was trying to get myself sober, being away from home and being on the road a lot. Sort of didn't help that recovery. So I found the best way for me to be recovering was stay close to home. So I wrestled a lot during that time for local promotions like IWF, Independent Wrestling Federation, whereas, you know what I mean, that was a local one in the Northeast where I was living at the time. So that was a bit of a gap there that I had. So I was never out, but I did take a hiatus. I didn't plan to pick it up as much as I have done again. I'm glad I have, but ultimately it's one of those things where at the time it was sort of winding down and focusing more on being a father to my children and getting myself right in my right frame of mind and getting myself healthy.
Yeah, and I think people don't realise as well that, you know, in the world that, like you just mentioned, I didn't know that about you. You know, like you just mentioned about that. And I think it's good that people are open and talk about it, because then it's like raising awareness for other people.
Oh, 100%. I mean, for me, I'm not really ashamed of any mistakes that I've made. I've done a lot of good things in my life. I've done a lot of bad things in my life. And I'll never shy away from any of it, because all those things led me to where I am today. And obviously I have to take ownership of some of the bad things I did and address those and sort those out, like the drinking and getting into bother. But then the other stuff, the good things I did, far outweigh the bad things. And obviously, when I addressed the bad things, it's only about improving myself. And as I said before, countless times, for me, it's more about improving on yourself always. So whether that be in wrestling or in your own life, you always need to be doing what you can to improve yourself and becoming a better version of yourself. So that's sort of where I'm at constantly. And I'm 11 years sober now, so I'm doing well. I'm doing well. But
you're amazing.
It's a lot more acceptable now than what it was back when I first stopped drinking, because people would always go, "Oh, come on, have one, you'd be all right, have one," and they didn't really understand a lot. But I think it's a lot more now. A lot more people realize that you have like non-alcoholic beers a lot more available now, and things like this that sort of help people come off the alcohol if they don't want to drink. And I think that's it's a lot more accepted nowadays than what it has been. But ultimately, it's great now when you tell people I don't really drink. They go, "Oh, nor do I." And there's not really people out there now that don't drink, don't do drugs and don't do stuff like that. And there's people that do. And if that's your bag and you can control it, then happy days, crack on, enjoy yourself. But I don't have that privilege of being able to control myself when I'm on it, so I just avoid it.
But it shows what a great man you are, as in, you know where you have come from. It shows how humble you are, and how much you really wanted it, and how much you do it for your family, you've done it for your loved ones, and it shows like what a father you are.
I mean, I think a lot of it is you do it for yourself and nobody else. I say I did it for my kids, I did it for my family, I did it for everyone like that. But ultimately, you've got to pull yourself out the shitter. Do you know what I mean? When you're down and out, and eventually you run out of people to point at and say, "This is the person that got me here, that person got me here," and you have to own up and really address your own demons and resolve those. And I think that's the big part of it. Is there's an element of when you have loved ones around you, and you can draw from your kids and say, stay away from the drink, because you know what'll happen if you have a drink, and you've got your kids there, and you've got your wife there, and your partner there, and things like that. And I think that's one of the key elements. But once you get control of it, it's that you can only control your first drink when you have an issue with drink. So as long as I don't have that first drink, I'm all right. It's a lot easier to control not having one drink than it is to not having a load of drinks. I just don't have one.
Yeah, I appreciate you talking about that, man. Thank you for that.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. And anybody out there who ever does want to talk about it, if anybody's struggling with drink, you can reach out to me. I'm always open to have a chat with anyone. If anyone's struggling or trying to come off the drink or drugs or anything like that, just drop me a message on socials. I always try to help anyone I can.
Just shows what a nice and humble and human being you are.
Yeah, I mean, it costs nothing to be kind to people and support people best you can. Do you know what I mean? It's just there's that much negativity out in the world now, and people are struggling that much out there. Why do you want to add to it by being a dickhead to people? You may as well just try to help out, try to throw someone a line now and again. You don't know what kind of day someone's having. They might need that comment picking them up or saying well done or whatever,
Yeah. So honestly though, seriously, thank you for sharing that. It takes
no problem.
Courage to speak about something that's close to your heart and what you've gone through. So thank you.
No problem, not a problem.
You've had a 20-year career, and you mentioned obviously GCW. We've mentioned TNT.
Yep.
Let's talk about this. And you mentioned going abroad.
Oh yes.
So you're going to be in America next year.
We are, yeah. So I'm going to be over for WrestleMania week. I've already got 5 shows booked in, so I'm picking up already. So
is
5 shows booked in.
GCW one of them?
Not yet. I'm hoping I get something with them, but I don't know. When me and Lou spoke about it, because I know Lou Nixon, who I travel out, he's one of my best friends. We travel out, we do a lot together. And when we spoke about going over to do it, obviously we spoke about what shows would you want to do, what show. And obviously for me, it's always been Effie's Brunch, because that looks like a lot of fun. The big K brunch looks like a lot of fun. I've always wanted to be part of that. But then I said, if I fixate on going over and you fixate on one show, you could get on 10 independent shows, have a cracking week, have a great week on merch, you know what I mean, do well for yourself. But if you don't get on that one show, you'll be disappointed because you're thinking, that's the one I wanted to get on, I didn't get on it.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm just looking at the point of view, like, I'm 40 years old now. I've been in the wrestling a long time. I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm loving creating memories for my friends. I know there's other guys coming over as well who I'm looking forward to meet. There's a lot of my American friends over there I'm looking forward to hanging out with. So when you look at it from that point of view and you're looking forward to meeting the fans over in America and stuff like that, is that I'm just going to focus on making happy memories. And if that rolls around, that is one of those happy memories, then fair play. But if not, I'm just happy to be there and happy to be part of it. And obviously, it's just one of those things, really. For me, it's just going to be, we got approached to go over, and that was me and Lou. So we're looking forward to going over and doing the shows, and so it's going to be exciting.
And what a place to be, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah, I know. So it'll always be going to have to stay away from the gamblers.
I was just about to say that.
So I'll not be going in the casino. So I'm going to try to keep as busy as possible. So
Be on your best behavior.
Be on my best behavior, yes, sir. But one of my buddies, when I was going, he messaged me and saying, "You're the only guy I know who went in the casino and hit on 19 playing blackjack." And I won. I got 21. A 2 came out. I was the coolest guy ever for that like a few seconds. I was like, I've done it. There you go. See, I knew that was going to come. And then I was just like, no, you didn't. That was when I was drinking though, so I could pretend to be cool and lose a lot of money on gambling, being silly. Yeah. So, but I didn't that time. I won, so he always remembers that. She's like, "You'll do well." I'm not going to bet. I'm going to try to get as many bookings as possible, so I stay out of everything.
You honestly, man, it'll be 1 week of good fun memories.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the shows that I'm on so far, I'm not going to mention it because obviously we need to announce them properly, and the guys want to hold back on announcing who's doing what. But there's some matches there that, from a deathmatch fan perspective, I'm really looking forward to. So it's that's all I'll say on it. But it's one of those things I'm always thinking. It's when you get a few names mentioned of a potential opponents. Obviously, they're all like matches for me that I would love to do. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Sounds fun, mate. Sounds fun.
Messy, but fun.
So what's the worst weapon to be hit with in a deathmatch?
I don't really know, because I mean, I've got a lot of padding, so I don't really. I can take a few hits, you know. So I'm 6'6", 400 pounds. So it takes a lot to sort of stumble me. I mean, you feel everything. Yeah, I mean, I've not really done much with light tubes before.
Not yet.
I don't really like them. I think they're overdone. I think I already have a few in one match, but I think if every match has light tubes, it sort of takes away from the impact of it. So it's like if every match had a chair in it. Well, the pizza cutter. The pizza cutter was always done even back when you used to do hardcore stuff. You used to do the pizza cutter on the head.
What about the paper?
The paper is not bad. The cheese grater is not bad. You used to do a cheese grater on the head and stuff. And
what like about bamboo?
Bamboo is all right. It's all right. Oh, the skewers. Yeah. Skewers are okay. And then you've got the tattoo needles from Tumby. I was surprised when they went in because they went in pretty deep. So like, when you're pulling them out, you actually have to pull them out. Whereas like some of the other stuff will stick in you. So like a gusset plate will stick into your head. But you can pretty much just pull it out quite easily. But when they did the tattoo needles in my head at Bleeding Gums, they were stuck in the corner picking them out. I was thinking, yoink, and I'd probably yank them out of my head because I think they were wedged in there. But it's still all right. I mean, it's par for the course. You know what you're playing.
That's true.
You know, when you step in there, you know what you're doing. So I think the worst thing I did recently at the Bleeding Gums was I did lemons. I just in the cut and squeezed lemon juice on my head when it was all cut open. And it wasn't too bad on the cuts, but the lemon juice just went right in my eyes. So it was like, because obviously it mixes with the sweat and then goes down in your eyes, and it sort of blinds you for a few seconds because it proper stings. But again, other than that, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't good on a daily basis, but I would I'd do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't personally do that.
It's different horses for different courses.
That's very true. So you've also got coming up in August, you've got an ECW legend in my opinion.
Yeah.
JasminStClair and I can't pronounce that, Leon Darwin
Leonardo Darwin.
That's it, sorry. It comes to them. They are hosting of Extreme. Pretty much CXW are holding an event which you're going to be a part of. Talk to me about that.
Yes, so CXW is Paris's promotion, and he's great. Like a promoter, he does a lot of the family shows down in Essex Way, down in Braintree, and he'll always go out. He'll dress up like Macho Man. He'll go out. He'll put the work in. He'll do everything he can to shift tickets and get a crowd in of anywhere between 300 to 500 people per show. Do you know what I mean? But he goes knocking doors. He goes all the old school tricks. You know what I mean? Knocking on doors, flying down centers, everything he can to get these people in. And then, but he's also got a lot of guys on the shows. He's got like a lot of the guys from Rise. So there's myself, there's Lou, there's Brett, Joe, Darko, Caden, and we all sort of wrestle on any style of show to a degree. And then we've got with Paris, and Paris decided he wants to do an 18 plus show. So obviously on the family shows, I'm the current Extreme champion. And so now I'm on the Extreme show with JasminStClair hosting it, with Darwin hosting it, which will be great fun alone because those two together will be gold. Do you know what I mean? For the old school ECW feel. And then I've got Jack Harrop in the Texas Deathmatch. So again, it's playing into my sort of strengths, and I look forward to that because I've known Jack since he was a kid. So because Iceman trained me to wrestle, so I trained with Iceman. And then I've known Jack since he was a boy, since he was about 5-year-old, and now he's a man. He's on the road with me, and we're going to shows and meeting towns, and he's still like my little brother. Do you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to that one because it'll be years and years of him being annoying. As a kid, I can now punch him. So that's what I'll do. I've waited all these years with a list of when he annoyed me, and now I can just go and hit him over those times.
And we mentioned earlier, it's CXW is another. I think when this comes out and this event is done with and it's more successful, I reckon Paris will do another one and then make it probably an annual thing. Probably do more of them.
Yeah, he's already got a couple of dates in mind for another one this year. But obviously, Paris is the type of guy who just wants to do everything. Do you know what I mean? But he wants it to be a success. But the thing with these shows is you normally have a strong deathmatch fan base down south that want to have the show on the doorstep. So when you give them an opportunity to have a show on the doorstep, especially with the people on the show, like Schlack's coming over from America, you got Big F and Joe, you've got Lou versus Brett, and like a blood sport death match. You know what I mean? You've got all these matches that are unique to that area. People will make the effort to go see. Do you know what I mean? The deathmatch fans are probably unrivaled. There's only few normal, everyday fans that I would say are as devoted to the craft as what the deathmatch fans are. Because they'll come to every show. They'll travel up and down the country. They'll do everything they can to make it a success and make it because it's all one community. Do you know what I mean? Nobody sees them as they're all part of one big community there. And I think when you look at it and you look at a lot of these guys here, they've got an opportunity to have another show. Before you were looking to get one show a year. Now you have an opportunity to have 3, 4, 5, maybe 8 shows a year. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of shows for these guys to have, and why wouldn't they want it? So they're gonna, especially if they're only going to the odd 1 or 2 shows, they're gonna make the effort to travel, especially when the guys are coming over from America. And it's people they're not going to see on every show.
That's true. And you mentioned earlier about obviously making memories, whether that's WrestleMania weekend. This event coming up, obviously you've got Jasmin. You're a Deathmatch fan, ECW and GCW. And JasminStClair and Leonardo Darwin.
Yeah.
2 people who pretty much, I'm not going to say you grew up, but you're a fan of from back then.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Really time.
I'm looking forward to, obviously, I speak to Jasmin quite often. She's helped me a lot with stuff out of America and things like that. She's a sweetheart, so I'm looking forward to obviously working with her and things like that on the shows. And I think that's part of it, is looking forward to that and making memories with these people, you know what I mean, and making those relationships. And I think you've got the other guys on the show, like a lot of them are close friends anyway, so you're already going to be there. You're already going to be making the memories are made on the road. Then you're going at the show, then you have a laugh at the show and enjoy yourself. You do your bit, the fans are happy, everyone's happy. We all go home. See you next time. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, the memories are made when you're doing these things, when it's daft shit happens on the road and things like that. That's more than anything else. But it's, you have your little laughs and your stuff like that, and I think that's what you want, really.
Very true, man. Very true.
Try to be happy and enjoy yourself.
Very true. So what can we say that we have in store for the rest of 2024 for Tim Strange?
So more of this, some of these. So we've got, the diary's pretty stacked. I'm doing a lot of shows for Target Wrestling. I've just won the Target Heavyweight Championship. Recently was one that was important to me, because when I first came back to wrestling more often, Target was one of the bigger promotions that gave me an opportunity first to come in and wrestle for them. So when I started wrestling more with them and they gave me that opportunity, it was great. I've got WAW, more with those guys doing. Obviously, they've got the massive show on Fightmare, which I'm looking forward to hopefully being a part of. So we've got Fightmare on the 21st of September at North Showground, which is normally a massive show. It has Saraya from AEW over. It has James on, guys going over for that show as well. So that's going to be a great show. You then have Rise and Rise shows for the year. More Bleeding Gum shows. Hopefully some more CXW shows and some more 18 plus CXW shows. I've got Kumite, a few dates with them. And then obviously Bleeding Gums. A lot with Bleeding Gums wrestling up in Scotland, the Deathmatch wrestling. So Andrew Crammond's obviously new, but I've got with him 20th of July, I've got Big F and Joe in a Red Dead Deathmatch. So it's going to be a Western themed deathmatch. So that's going to be a lot of fun in that. And then we've got September. He's going to have a couple of shows in September. I think he's doing a double shot in one day, two shows in one day, and then another one in October. So I don't think any of these are announced yet. I think I'm just doing exclusives, spoilers.
Are you off abroad this year?
Sorry?
Are you off abroad later this year?
I was supposed to go to Sweden in September, but I had a clash of dates, so I'm not going to Sweden. I was supposed to go to Denmark later in the year. It's always a potential for me. I've got a few dates open up in October, November, so I might get something over there. But for me, in order to travel abroad, it has to be worth the travel. So a lot of the times you go, and if you're traveling over for one show, when you could potentially do 3 shows in the UK, I'd rather stay and do 3 shows than travel to another country and do 1 show. So I'm quite blessed that I have traveled a lot. So it's sort of, for me, it's lovely seeing new places, but not at the detriment of it's a business at the end of the day. So if I can have 3 shows on a weekend, I'd rather do that than have 1 show abroad and be away from my family all weekend. I'd rather do 3 and be home in my own bed on a night.
Yeah, I understand that. There's nothing, you can't beat your own bed, can you?
That's it. Is that not to say that I won't take international wins if there's some creeps up? I'll do some, but there's nothing set in stone yet. There's a few people I'm talking to, but nothing set in stone as of yet.
Yeah. Is there what can we expect for 2025, Tim Strange? Just more and more wrestling, death matches?
Just more and more wrestling. I think for me, it's going to be a lot of it is 2025 might not be as busy on the family shows, but it might be a little busier on the death matches. So it's one of those things where at the moment the family shows are really picking up, and I'm doing the shows every weekend. Every week I'm doing 2 or 3 shows, whereas it's a lot. Well, I've got a young family. I want to be home some weekends with my kids and things. So I think I might be more selective on who and the shows that I do work on when I come back in 2025. Obviously, I've got the big WrestleMania week, so quarter 1 is just gearing up for the WrestleMania week, really, and trying to stay as sharp as possible and do that.
Yeah.
I say that I want to slow down the family shows, but I also know in my heart of hearts that I won't do that. I will just do any show that comes to me. So it's one of those. I always say to myself, yeah, I'll slow down, or I'll take less bookings, or I'll be more selective, but I never do. I'll just normally wrestle anywhere for anyone.
Yeah. Obviously, you mentioned at the beginning of the video you're 40 years of age. How long do you plan on wrestling for?
Till the wheels come off.
Till the wheels come off.
Till I can't do it anymore. I think that's the only viable thing. If it ever comes to the point where I'm going out the ring and the fans are going, come on now, do you know what I mean? Or I'm just getting booked because I've always been around, that's the day I'll probably say I'll try to take a step back and help out with the shows, probably in a producer role or something like that, and help do stuff like that, or help younger guys and things. But I don't know, I haven't really thought of it. I always say 5 years, but I've been saying 5 years for ever. Another 5 years, I'll be all right. Yeah. But I think I'm just realistically, I'll probably just go till I can't go anymore. So it will be forever.
Who's your dream opponent?
What was that?
Who's your dream opponent?
Living or dead? Living. Probably Stan Hansen. I think I would love the wrestle Stan Hansen. But I mean, it's, if you're talking now, obviously in today's day and age, and the deathmatch scene, like, I've always been a fan of Madman Pondo from the death matches, so I'd like to wrestle him one day. There's that much talent over there. Obviously, Necro Butcher, if he does make a return, I'd like to wrestle him. Obviously, you've got Big F and Joe, which I'm wrestling. Iceman, I'd like to wrestle again. Dream match is probably Giant Gonzalez as well. I like Giant Gonzalez. A lot of people didn't like him. I quite like the big hoss, the big guys, you know what I mean? Like the Braun Strowmans and the Omos's and I'm the guy they appeal to. I'm the one who's like, yeah, I want to see that fight. I want to see that match. So, like, Omos versus Brock Lesnar and stuff at WrestleMania was like my match. I was like, I'm excited for this. It'll be great. This is the same thing with Giant Gonzalez. And I hear the Undertaker's always talking about how he used to club him in the back of the head and he wasn't the greatest. But to me, it was just the spectacle of it. Do you know what I mean? Looking at him, he's 7'3". Do you know what I mean? He's a big guy.
Yeah.
So it's that sort of element of it is always a spectacle for me. But I don't know. I think that would be the dream opponents as such. You've got people like Raven, Sandman from ECW as well, and Tommy Dreamer and all these guys. But you know, it's just you've got Matt Cardona, Effie, Manser, one called Manders. These guys are really active who I would love to wrestle. Obviously, this list goes on. It is those people who I would like to wrestle with.
Yeah.
What about you? Who would be your dream opponent?
My dream opponent. So no one's ever really asked me that, but do you know someone who I'd love to step in the ring with? Eddie Guerrero.
That'd be good.
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero. I'm short.
Eddie Guerrero's the boy.
I'm short, and so is he. So I reckon we'd have a good little match.
Catch as catch can.
Yeah, literally.
Professional wrestling match. But no, it's good. I always try to ask the interviewers questions to see what they.
Do you want to ask me a few?
Oh well, what's your favorite match of all time?
My favorite match of all time. So you go. I'll give you 5 questions. You can ask me then.
Yeah.
Okay. So my favorite match of all time. Wow. So many to choose from. Do you want me to tell you 2 matches one from WWE, one from AEW? Make it interesting.
You can do.
Okay, so in AEW, there's a lot of good matches, but I like the tag team match between the Young Bucks, Hangman, and Kenny.
It's AEW tag team matches.
Yeah, and then
they just have loads of great tag matches. Go ahead.
And then WWE. Okay. I'm going to say currently. I'm going to say Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, 25.
So that's good. I like that. That's all right. You can have those. I'll give you those. You can have those ones. I'll let you have those correct answers. Even though it's opinionated, it still has to be correct. So it's the next question. If you could create a dream match, what would it be? Any 2 wrestlers from any era.
Oh. Wow. There's 2 matches. I'll give 2. So I would pick Hayabusa.
Yeah.
Against AJ Styles.
Yeah.
And then I would go Misawa versus Bryan Danielson.
So you can't go wrong with them. You could interchange any of those 4 people into a match together and it will be good.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't really go wrong with that. So let's see if I have any other questions. One thing, if you could change anything about pro wrestling, what would you change?
One thing I would change about pro wrestling. Negativity.
Negativity about the whole tribalism within wrestling now.
Yeah, whether that's tribalism, just the bullshit that people bring, whether that's just people. We just need to be more open and then be happy. You know what I mean?
I just think it's more accepting the fact that might not be your cup of tea, but someone else does enjoy it. Yeah. So let them enjoy it, and you enjoy what you enjoy.
Yeah.
And it never really. I can understand if they ever only had 1 match a week, and every week it was the match that this other person would enjoy, not that person. But you've got access to YouTube. you've got the countless streaming services about wrestling. There's no reason for you to sit there and go, oh, this is not really for me. Because you could easily go find something that it is for you. So rather than shit on what other people enjoy, go and find something you enjoy and put your energy into enjoying that rather than knocking people for enjoying certain things because you don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a massive AEW fan. But that's, to me, it's more or less. But what I like is like the old Japan brawling sort of style, the old Puerto Rican style, the old territory days. So it doesn't make sense. That's why I'm not a fan of. I wouldn't say I don't enjoy watching it, because I will watch it, I will enjoy it. But if I had to put on 3 or 4 matches and sit down and chill and relax all night, they probably wouldn't be AEW matches. Not knocking the ability and the talent of the guys or people who enjoy that. But it's just not something that I enjoy. But then there's a lot of stuff that I probably enjoy with watching Terry Gordy and Stan Hansen and all those guys just brain the shit out of each other. People go, this is just
It's true.
forearm each other in the head.
And you know, what I think about this world is that we're all different. As in, your opinions are different to mine. I like things that probably might be different to you. I think that's what makes the world unique and stuff like that.
It'd be very boring if everyone agreed on everything.
Exactly.
It just wouldn't be. There would be no reason to change anything. Everyone would be exactly the same.
Yeah.
So,
2 more questions.
2 more questions. I mean, good. So, if you could go back in time and change any result to any match, what match would you change and why?
That's a good one. Any result? Wow, there's been some events over the years as well, hasn't there? I would change. There's 2 that I would. No, there's 3 that I would change.
1. You can only change 1.
Yeah, I know. Right. Okay. So
You can name your 3 potential changes, but also you have to pick one of those 3.
I'll name my 3 changes that I would potentially do, but then I'll name the one out of them that I will do.
Okay.
So I would potentially change the Montreal Screwjob.
Yeah.
Because the way that happened and the way it went down, I didn't like it. And that's what I spoke about a minute ago, negativity. There's a fine line that you don't cross in wrestling, in my opinion, and that's that. Bret Hart didn't want to lose the title in his own country, Canada.
Yeah.
He said he didn't mind losing it. But they had beef for like 12, 13 years. So I wouldn't change that. I would change that.
Yeah.
The next one would be AEW 2022 fight behind the media scrum, you want to call it. I'd change that. Because at the time, Punk was champion. The Elite was the Trios champion, which they just introduced. And that year, AEW was going to new heights. And then they had 4 of the biggest stars suspended.
Yeah.
And then they lose Punk to WWE, and then, stuff happens for a reason. And then the next one, what I would change is the Undertaker streak.
Yeah.
On how that got broken and who broke that. That's what I would change. And my last one, that's what I would officially change. The streak on how it got broken.
Who would you have ended?
And who broke it?
Who would you have in the streak?
Roman.
That's fair.
Because
he beat him anyway, like the month after.
He did. Well, he broke
the year after. The year after, wasn't it?
A year or 2 after, something stupid like that. But yeah, I would have had him break it because Brock didn't need it.
No.
You expect someone to win something to elevate that person, like Roman's title, Cody, elevated him.
Well, that's it.
And that streak went for 21 years, and then it could have elevated him. It didn't.
Good. But I don't think Roman need it. Roman was pretty high as soon as he changed over the tribal chief.
But it was high at the time, but he was like the big dog known as.
It would have been another string to his bow of accomplishments, really. So,
Yeah.
but I don't mind Brock. I think it was up to Undertaker anyway. Undertaker chose Brock, didn't he, to lose the streak too. So it's
one final question.
All right, what have we got? Final question. You can do a roster change on any show. You can bring any 3 wrestlers over to AEW, but you have to give 3 wrestlers back to wherever you take them from.
Ooh. So for AEW going over to WWE,
Yeah.
I would have MJF.
Yeah.
I would have Hook.
Yeah.
And then I would have Thunder Rosa.
And who would you bring?
So to go to AEW, I would have Ricochet.
Yeah, which is going anyway.
Who knows? I would have I'm just going to say Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Because,
Because it's Seth Rollins.
Oh, yeah. And then I would have Becky Lynch.
You can have her now. She's free agent. She doesn't work anywhere.
Could happen. I've got one for you. What's one underrated match in any promotion that doesn't get much credit?
Rhodey and 1-2-3 Kid it in your house one. That's a great match, but people on the sleep on it, and it was so good.
Yeah,
it was really good. Have you even watched it? You've never even seen it before, have you?
probably not.
No.
Probably too young.
It gets cascaded in differently, but if you go and watch 1-2-3 Kid versus Rhodey, which is James when he was managing Jeff Jarrett, and you watch the match and then the second and third match, and they're doing pile drivers off the middle rope and all sorts, which at the time was unheard of, but like it was such a good match to watch. But I don't think anyone really goes, that's a match.
Yeah.
Like, so it's a good one to watch. Your homework is to go watch that match tonight and let me know your thoughts. So,
what's one inspirational message from Tim Strain?
One message. Follow me on what?
One inspirational message.
One inspirational message. I'll probably just say, if you can't be anything, be honest. Do you know what I mean? Just not with anyone else, but just don't care what anyone else thinks. Just be honest with yourself. You know you're not being true to yourself, and your body will always set back to default. So if you try to be something you're not, you'll still get found out. So the best way to be is just be honest about who you are, and only then can you really actually not give a fuck what anyone else thinks of you, because you know who you are inside. That's probably the inspirational messages. I'm not really one for inspirational talks.
Fair enough.
I am giving one out. So, but you can follow me on Mr. Tim Strange on Instagram and Twitter for more motivational talks.
Awesome, man. Thank you for coming on. I really do appreciate your time.
Not a problem at all. Anytime.
Definitely, we'll get you back on.
Lovely chatting with you. Lovely being on. So, thank you very much.
All right, we'll definitely have you again soon.
Let's do a sign off like that.
Yeah. Take it easy, man.